Good Tuesday morning to you all. Hopefully you guys are doing great. We got a lot of stuff in this Watchmen update we need to cover. We got things like federal free zones being declared in Chicago, and even the mayor there declaring that he is going to have a Civil War rematch. I don't even know what these guys are talking about anymore. It's crazy. We got no boats left for the cartels. Apparently they're going to have to go by land now. That's a report. And we have gold hitting another all-time high. We got bankruptcies up. We got French government collapsing. We got the President Trump flying to the U.S. aircraft carrier George H.W. Bush. And while it's underway, we got that happening. And there's something wrong with bread, according to the Watchmen. We got that and a whole lot more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. Just use the word, just UPDATE. It can be uppercase, lowercase, whatever. That just tells us that there's something in that comment that that might be needed to be shared with the whole group. We appreciate all of you being part of the Watchmen community. We also want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help make these updates possible. They've been making these updates possible for 3 years now. They've been a fantastic partner to this channel. They don't tell us what to put on this channel, and they believe in what we're doing and what we're talking about here. So if you appreciate this, that is due to Genesis Gold Group. They help people with retirement accounts to get out of stocks and bonds into something safer like gold, silver, or platinum. If you want to find out more, there'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has signed an executive order Monday establishing ice-free zones in Chicago. Now, this isn't some snow removal strategy that they're implementing, but rather the federal government cannot go into these areas because somehow those areas don't belong to the United States and federal law does not apply. Yes, telling feds where they can go, where they're allowed to go, and where they're allowed to enforce federal law. So apparently you can commit federal crimes in certain areas of Chicago, and Chicago PD is going to protect your right to commit those crimes. You just have to ask, what federally banned substances is this mayor using? He's even calling for a Civil War rematch. No joke. His words. Civil War rematch. Absolutely insane. Talking about boosting their resistance, and he's not talking about pokes, he's talking about insurrection. I don't even get it. I don't even get it. Like, who do these people think they are? And do they really think they can get away with this kind of stuff? All right, President Trump has said that no boats are left in Venezuela to the cartels after U.S. strikes. This is happening to the cartels. He's saying that they're now going to have to travel by land to smuggle their illicit substances to the Chicago mayor, and saying that ground strikes will be needed next because they're all going to be going by land. That will be a major escalation if he tries to do ground strikes on Venezuela. Definitely ground strikes against Colombia will not be welcome. I don't think there's any countries along the way between Venezuela and the United States that will be like, yeah, why don't you bomb our country? But to be fair, we've bombed basically every country in the world, so why should these countries be left out, right? President Trump has also announced that the United States will be providing the nuclear-capable Tomahawk land variant missile to Ukraine. This is the cruise missile Tomahawks that the Navy uses as they can be launched from land. They're extremely expensive, and apparently Ukraine doesn't have enough expensive hardware that gets them into trouble. This has been a red line in the past for Russia, and now we're just going to hand them over to Ukraine. President Trump saying that he still has questions about how these will be used. Well, obviously, I mean, what do you think's going to happen if you stick them in their hands? Do you think that they're going to be trying to take out Putin? Because that's probably what they're going to try to do with them. Anyway, Gold has smashed $3,900. Now, just for reference, again, here in 2020, gold was $1,560. So we're talking well over doubled since then, and it continues to scream higher. Expectations from UBS, they expect bullion to reach $4,200 by the year's end. Now, why is it exploding upwards? It hit $3,900 for the first time early in Asian trade on Monday as safe haven demand from U.S. government shutdown. Basically, people scared, don't like the shutdown, so they're going to safe places, have been going into gold and Bitcoin. And also, it's adding to the momentum from rate cuts expected from the Federal Reserve shortly. More. Chapter 7 bankruptcies. This is individual bankruptcies. This is for individual people, families. They have jumped 15% just in the first 9 months of 2025. So things are so great that more people are going bankrupt because things are so great. Yeah, if that makes sense to you, I don't know what to say. France's prime minister has resigned after 9 months in office, less than 9 months in office. The outgoing French prime minister, Sébastien Lecornu, resigned after Macron, the president of France, hired a close friend as the defense minister. Both Macron's party and his opposition have cried foul over this puppet of Macron's, forcing him to resign, and the Prime Minister of France also resigning in the collapse of the coalition government there. They're going to have to figure out how to get along and play with each other's toys. And what's basically happening is they can't work with each other anymore. There's absolutely no common ground whatsoever. Does that sound familiar at all? Germany, next door, is concerned, saying that a stable France is an important contribution to stability in Europe. Yeah, so the French government collapsed 14 hours after the prime minister resigned, and the crisis there is getting worse. The U.S. government shutdown, another bright spot in the world, may now last weeks. Apparently, neither Democrats nor Republicans are bending, and everyone's just kind of hunkering down for the long haul. They did just miss the payrolls for U.S. soldiers and military members across the world. So U.S. military is required to stay on station and to continue working, and they are not getting paid anymore due to the Democrat shutdown, the Schumer shutdown. We got President Trump announcing a big UFC fight on White House grounds will take place on June 14th. This is going to be President Trump's 80th birthday, and why not celebrate it while watching people get punched and kicked in the face, right? This will be one of it's been a long time since we've seen any sporting events on the White House grounds. It's been a very long time, actually. And so this is a pretty big deal on a news front, and hopefully the government shutdown's over by then so they can do that. Anyway, RC says President Trump said on Truth Social late Friday that he will host an event honoring the 250th anniversary of the Navy on Sunday at Naval Station Norfolk. And he did, by actually flying via helicopter out to the George H.W. Bush aircraft carrier, landing on the deck as it was underway and doing launch drills. He gave a speech on the deck of the carrier before returning back to land. Not something you would have seen the resident-in-chief previously do. Vox says, my husband spent 6 hours total working with a client in Portland, Oregon. This was on WebEx. He asked, out of curiosity, he sometimes peeks over my shoulder when I am on here, about the riots, arson, and insurrection in Portland, and whether it was affecting their business. The CFO laughed at him and said that there are no riots, no arsons, no more arsons than usual. Gotta love that. No more arsons than usual, and certainly no insurrection happening in Portland. How dare you suggest such a thing? That's factual, right? Can't believe in facts anymore. It's all spin. It's like these people are surprised when they get mugged in New York City or Washington, D.C. Because what? How could I get mugged? How could I get carjacked? That's just a Republican talking point. But apparently, it's actually corresponding to reality and the shared experiences of many millions of Americans. Dogs Sand Football says, Central West Virginia. It was reported that okra was not producing this year. About a week ago, my okra started producing, so that's good. A little late, but at least we still have some yield. So some of you might be seeing some very late blooming okra. And so check your plants. You might have gotten something this late in the season. North Ranch says, from Manitoba, we got 12 Rhode Island hens here in April, and they started laying at 4.5 months. I feed ground barley, oats, and distiller's grains, fermented with either milk, whey, or with water, plus fermenter starter, which can be whey or vegetable ferment. Much cheaper than bagged chicken feed, so it saves a lot of money. I also offer them dry chicken crumble along with eggshells. Fermented food is much more digestible. If you've been in the chicken egg-laying communities, you've, of course, heard about fermenting your food, right? I looked into that myself when I had chickens. So it's much more digestible, so they get more out of the feed. We have 22 chickens and get 17 to 20 eggs daily. So we give away lots of eggs since there are only 2 of us. Yep, make sure you put some away for future, right? Freeze them or water glass them. Make sure you have some for when your chickens may not be producing, or heaven forbid a predator gets into your chickens and messes you up. Velma says, I watch the train traffic in my area. I have to cross the tracks to get to stores and other things. In the last month, trains have run much more frequently, are longer, and are moving more freight. Almost every train had double-stacked trailers. The uptick is a curiosity. Christmas freight has mostly already run, so what's going on with this? So we got a lot of traffic happening out there. We have freight moving across the Pacific from Asia to the left coast is dropping significantly, more significantly than previous seasons, and that's notable out there. Now we have apparently increasing freight movement via rail, but we're also hearing that trucks are getting much lower rates, and people don't want to move things by truck anymore. Apparently, they're shifting more of that traffic over to the railroads, and that might be what's going on here, trying to save a few bucks on shipping. Love to Decorate says, on a completely unrelated topic, if anyone wants to stock up on paint, Lowe's will be discontinuing carrying Stain Master. You can get whatever you want at 50% off at a lot of these stores. So if you're looking for paint, check out Lowe's. Look for Stain Master. A lot of it is discounted right now. So if you have a project that needs some paint that you've been waiting on, that might be your signal to go pick some up at a discount and get that job knocked out, or at least get the paint so you can knock it out later. Gene says, we are retired from oil, EPA, and medical industries and now run a working mom and pop ranch in Southeast Texas. We grow and process 98% of our food intake, including pork, beef, eggs, and veggies. It's a job, but we can't risk buying from the big stores anymore. The only thing we buy are paper and soaps. We raise our own chickens, and the chickens are a major endeavor. We hatch our own hens and replace our layers yearly. The system works well. We buy our feed at local feed stores. feeding cracked corn and 22% good quality lay pellet. With 35 hens, we always have wonderful production of fresh eggs for eating and cooking. The hens have been watched for any health problems and treated as such. It's a very important part in chicken husbandry. I have plenty of eggs to sell, a few to help with the overhead, which is about $100 a month or so. But I never buy eggs anywhere. P.S. I have tried changing my chicken feed to Tractor Supply, but the chickens stopped laying. So I only buy from the local feed store. So we just heard that so many times, repeated over and over and over from you guys. Tractor Supply feed has done you dirty. So please steer away from that, or at least do a small test and be quick to switch back off it if your chickens respond poorly to it. David says, dude, did you say someone else noticed the crazy thing of birds not eating bread? I told that to a friend months ago. He laughed and said, so what? This is a very troubling thing if happening. I saw a number of you else all kind of chiming in and concerned about this as well. Different varieties of bread, but basically all store-bought breads were just, birds just don't want to eat it for some reason. And you got to wonder, if the birds don't want to eat it, should we be eating it? What are they putting in these things? What kind of preservatives are they putting in the bread these days that is making it so unpalatable to birds? Because when the canary in the coal mine tips over, we should be listening, right? And this is a bird. These are birds giving us a clue. Learning Functioning says chickens slow down on laying in the fall and winter, of course, but you can put a little hot pepper flakes or cayenne pepper in their feed, and it should help some. That's a natural way to deworm chickens, so that does kind of help them. So you can definitely try that. If they aren't laying, it's possible because of worms. Old as Dirt says, people, please look up the breed of chicken that you have. It will tell you about your bird. It gives age at which they're expected to lay eggs, size of the roux and hen. They even have pictures so you can see if you accidentally have a rooster and not a hen. And that is, very telling. If your roosters aren't laying, that is a problem that you can, it's a pretty straightforward problem to fix. You need to turn them into chicken pot pies and go buy some hens. It also tell you about the color of the eggs, size of the eggs, and whether they do the weather that they do best in. If they lay daily or if they lay every other day. If they free range well, if they're dual purpose, as in meat and eggs. All sorts of interesting things. Some breeds do not start to lay until 8 months old or older. So do check into what your breed of birds should be doing. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us for this Poplar report and the Watchmen update. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold Group about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there on the screen. Just fill that out and fill out your information, and they'll get in contact with you. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. Usually displays the latest video that I've posted. Thanks so much for joining with us. I will see you guys again later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.